Every transfer window has a story about the deal that got away. Somewhere out there, a director of football is going to wake up in August and realize they let a genuine bargain slip through their fingers while chasing something flashier. It happens every single year, and it is already happening right now in real time across multiple leagues. These are 7 clubs currently sleeping on real opportunities this summer, and the clock is ticking louder than most of them realize. 1. Everton. Dusan Vlahovic left Juventus as a free agent on July 1st, and he is still without a club 3 weeks later, an increasingly strange situation for a player of his profile. Everton have been credited with interest for months, but talks have stalled entirely over money. Vlahovic wants around €9 million a season, plus a significant signing bonus. And while Newcastle and Bayern Munich have made contact without pushing further, Everton have simply been weighing things up rather than closing the deal decisively while they still have the chance. This is a 26-year-old with 41 caps for Serbia and 50 goals in 123 Juventus appearances, standing 6'3", available for zero transfer fee. Reports now suggest he remains cold on a move to Merseyside, prioritising a return to Juventus instead. David Moyes has been searching for attacking reinforcements behind Beto and Thierno Barry, whose return since his £35 million move has yet to properly convince anyone at Goodison Park. The solution has been sitting right there in plain sight, and Everton's hesitation could easily cost them the whole deal. 2. Newcastle United. Selling Anthony Gordon to Barcelona and Sandro Tonali to Tottenham has banked Newcastle a combined £170 million this summer, the kind of war chest Eddie Howe has rarely enjoyed at St James Park during his entire time on Tyneside. Yet Newcastle still have not solved their most obvious problem, a genuine, reliable goalscorer up front. Nick Woltermaid was signed to replace Alexander Isak last summer and faded badly as the campaign wore on, often not even playing as a central striker by season's end, while Jon Wissa managed just 3 goals across the entire campaign. Newcastle missed out on their priority target Benjamin Sesko, who chose Manchester United instead, and have since been credited with interest in Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson as a genuine alternative to complement rather than replace their current options. With £170 million sitting in the bank and Champions League football to prepare for, their pursuit of a genuine number 9 has felt far too passive for a club with these kinds of resources and ambitions right now. 3. Manchester United. United have not been inactive this summer, to be fair to them. Yuri Tielemans arrived from Aston Villa for £35 million and Andre Santos joined from Chelsea for around £48 million, both useful additions to Michael Carrick's ongoing midfield rebuild following his permanent appointment. But look closely at what got away in the process. Elliot Anderson, a genuine United target throughout the window, ended up joining Manchester City instead for a staggering £116 million. Matthias Fernandes, another midfielder firmly on their radar, signed for Tottenham for £85 million after United's interest failed to convert into any concrete action. United's own CEO admitted the club needed to stay flexible after those 2 specific deals collapsed at a late stage. Their midfield shortlist has since narrowed further still, with Aurelien Tchouameni now expected to sign a new Real Madrid contract and Alex Scott moving to Chelsea for £64 million, leaving Roma's Manu Kone, a 25-year-old France international, quietly available for a fraction of Anderson's fee as the most sensible name still on the board. Casemiro was released and Rasmus Højlund was sold to Napoli, leaving real gaps in the squad that faster-moving rivals filled before United could properly react. The bargains were genuinely there for the taking. United blinked at the crucial moment. 4. Liverpool. Liverpool's defence has been under the microscope for months, and it traces back to a specific missed opportunity that fans and pundits still bring up regularly, months after it happened. The club was strongly linked with Crystal Palace's Marc Guehi, only to miss out on him entirely, a decision that has since been picked apart given the defensive uncertainty that followed throughout the rest of the season. This summer, Ibrahima Konate and Andy Robertson both left as free agents too, alongside Mohamed Salah's high-profile departure, meaning Liverpool head into a new era under Andoni Iraola, having lost 3 senior first-teamers without a single penny of direct compensation. Marcos Senesi was available on a free transfer, having played under Iraola previously at Bournemouth and knowing his system inside out, yet Liverpool showed no real urgency there either, despite the obvious fit. that is no longer an option, as he has since joined Tottenham. To make matters worse, Joe Gomez was injured just 7 minutes into his first appearance under Iraola. The pattern keeps repeating itself at Anfield, good defenders identified early, then somehow allowed to slip away regardless. 5. Barcelona. Robert Lewandowski's contract has expired, and Barcelona still do not have a long-term successor properly sorted heading into the new season. Julian Alvarez remains their priority target, but Atletico Madrid have held firm on their valuation, and that pursuit is dragging on with no resolution in sight despite weeks of back-and-forth negotiation. What makes this worse is that Barcelona have a genuinely realistic alternative sitting right there too. Darwin Núñez is expected to leave Al Hilal this summer after losing his place following Karim Benzema's arrival, and he would cost nothing close to Alvarez's price tag. Barcelona have monitored him without any real urgency, the same passive approach they have shown toward free agent Dusan Vlahovic, who continues drifting toward other suitors while Deco's side waits patiently for a marquee move that may never come. A club with well-documented financial constraints has two realistic, affordable strikers within reach and has moved decisively on neither. 6. Aston Villa. John Stones left Manchester City this summer after a trophy-laden decade under Pep Guardiola, 17 major honours and 294 appearances for the club, and he is available for zero transfer fee to whichever side moves first. Aston Villa are one of the clubs genuinely in the race alongside Leeds, having been credited with real concrete interest in his signature following his impressive World Cup with England. Villa know exactly what they are getting here, a tactically excellent Champions League winning centre-back who can slot in immediately and add genuine experience and leadership to a squad still building towards sustained top 6 football under Unai Emery. Yet, weeks into the window, Villa have not pushed the deal over the line, and Inter Milan, Juventus and Bayern Munich are all reportedly in contact too, adding real competition to the situation. A free, ready-made upgrade is sitting there for the taking. Villa need to move before somebody else does. 7. Ipswich Town, Hull City and Coventry City, all three newly promoted for the 2026-27 season, and all three still carrying obvious defensive gaps heading into their first weeks back in the Premier League, a division that punishes defensive fragility ruthlessly and immediately. Ipswich were previously linked with experienced Hull centre-back John Egan before he ultimately stayed on Humberside, meaning both promoted clubs circled the exact same market, without either side actually closing a deal on a genuine upgrade at the back. Coventry, under Frank Lampard, have had an even slower summer, with central defender Aurelia Menda arriving as one of only 2 signings so far, despite an entire back line needing reinforcement for the step-up. All three clubs have separately been credited with interest in Manchester City's Taylor Harwood-Bellies, a versatile Premier League-ready centre-back who would fit any of their systems immediately, yet none of them have pushed a firm bid over the line. Every single year, at least one newly promoted side gets caught out in August because they moved too slowly on a defender everybody could clearly see they needed. Prices only rise from here as the window edges toward its close, and rival clubs chasing that same short list of affordable, experienced options are certainly not waiting around. Opportunities are sitting right in front of these teams, hiding in plain sight for anyone paying close attention. Transfer windows punish hesitation more than almost anything else in modern football, and every single one of these situations could look completely different by the time September rolls around. Which club do you think will regret their inaction the most once the new season actually gets underway? Drop it in the comments below, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video like this from us. Catch you in the next one.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.